that nobody heard about over to the PI. We would have sent him over to law enforcement, but the gentleman, Kim Neal, Lieutenant Kim Neal, was really pompous to us. We went out and hit the streets and stuff like that, and we saw him walking over to City Hall, and we were trying to talk to him about giving him some names. And even though I was calling his name, and my voice is very loud, with or without a bullhorn, and he ignored us and kept walking. So I ended up telling the district attorney about his behavior. That's not professional behavior for especially a lieutenant. This gentleman is a waste of space and needs to be let go because he's making over, I think, 120%, Jonathan found out, over the national average for a person in his position. And that's what I found to be true in the Moab area. All of the the people higher up on the hierarchy in that city is making ridiculous amounts of money. Meanwhile, everybody in their town is struggling. It's lopsided. It's one-sided. They have more rentals than they do, like tourist type rentals, like weekly rentals, than they do homes for the citizens that run simple things like work at the McDonald's or work at the convenience store. Apparently, people are having to go to Monticello to live and commute over to Moab to work. And that's why they have such a huge van life community. I mean, they have an ordinance that you cannot live in a van in a parking lot at these stores and whatnot. They can't even enforce that in Moab because the van life community is so huge there. And when we talk to the people, a lot of them say that, they don't necessarily want to be part of the van life. They've got no choice. They love the area. That's their home, but they can't afford living. A two-bedroom dilapidated home cost about $500,000 in Moab. It's sad. It's pretty messed up, if you ask me. You go to Moab, it's like stepping back 20 or 30 years. They still have a Radio Shack and payphones. You can go up to the library to get some internet. That's about it. And these people, and the city is literally raking in hand over fist all this tourist tax and tourist funds from the tourism. They didn't even have posters or anything posted up about Kylan Schulte or Crystal Turner's, or even asking the public for help in their case. They didn't. It's like their tourists were more important than the people that live there. They were so worried that if it got out, people wouldn't tour there. I'm sorry, but that should be the least of your concern when it comes to a double homicide in your city. They didn't have nothing. We wouldn't grab like those monthly papers that they have that are distributed. We went back to, I think, October, November, maybe even September. I may even had one from September. Look through it. Not one thing about Kylan or Crystal in there. Not one. We went to every single phone post or light post or, anything to see if they had stickers of everything else, tax the rich and all this other stuff, but not one flyer for Kylan Schulte or Crystal Turner in that whole city. While we were there, except for the last day, we did not see one police officer, either Grand County Sheriff or Moab police officer, the entire time. The